want to recognize, we lost one of America's great storytellers today. So a quick thought for Carl Castle, whose voice I have on my answering machine, because I have been a winner on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. Top thing on my resume. Perhaps I have confused hero with celebrity. It's easy to do. And I'm sure you've all played, kind of the game of, well, who's the most famous person who ever went to your high school? Anybody? Anybody out there have anybody famous who went to their high school? It's a real quiet audience. I am, as many of you may know, a native of beautiful Detroit, Michigan, or if you ask any Michigander. But I'm a suburban kid, so I can't claim any of the real heroes of Detroit. Can't say that I know the Temptations or Aretha Franklin, or Joe Louis. Eminem is from 8 Mile. I grew up 2 miles away at 10 Mile. It's an entirely different neighborhood. But if you go to good old Berkeley High, well, the most famous person to ever go to Berkeley High was probably, love him or hate him, Ted Nugent. He didn't graduate. He was kicked out for riding his motorcycle up and down the stairs inside the building. But, the Nuge was a Berkeley High guy. Our most famous graduates, perhaps you know, if you're a music fan, you know Marshall Crenshaw. If you're not a music fan, you might know that he played Buddy Holly in La Bamba. Right, no one saw that either, okay? And our other famous graduate, does anyone know the name Curtis Armstrong? Good, yeah, if I told you he was Booger in Revenge of the Nerds. Berkeley High, we're so proud. But before I went to Berkeley High, I had recently graduated from John J. Norup Middle School as a matriculated 8th grader rising into the beautiful world of 9th grade. They decided that during summer vacation, the big thing in our city was the 4th of July parade. This is your good quality local hometown parade, like where different parts of the city would make little floats to be in the parade, and every Little League team and Cub Scout troop, and you name it, they were all in the parade. So they decided the high school band should be in this parade. Of course, 4th of July parade happens on July, and school's not really in. So it was just a matter of finding whoever was left around who could be in the band to show up for the 4th of July. They needed drummers. I was a drummer. And we had one rehearsal, one day to march through the streets of my little suburban neighborhood to practice our big number for the 4th of July parade. And the other drummer couldn't make it. Now, the other drummer was actually a high school student. He knew what he was doing. I was an 8th grader, for better or for worse, who had never played snare drum in a marching band. I was a bass drummer. I had the big drum in front of me and I just went boom, boom, boom. Lots of quarter notes. Not really an 8th note or anything more than that. But for rehearsal day, I had to show up and they say, oh, the snare drummer's not here. We can get by without the bass drum for the day. You play snare. Right. The snare drum, if you've never played one in a marching band before, and I'm assuming most of you haven't, it straps on over your shoulder, and I was about, 4'3". And it's got this leg rest that goes right here on your thigh, or in my case, like down here. And it's supposed to have a little shoestring kind of ties around it. That was the old way they did it back in the day. They had much better drum carrying systems now. So you're marching along with this thing banging off your body, and you're trying to play the music, and there's a little piece of sheet music on top of your drum that's going up and down as you take steps, and you're trying to follow that music, and I don't know the song. The song was on Broadway. You all know that one. Nice, simple, easy song that I had never heard before. And we are marching down the street, and I am trying to follow all of these eighth notes and triplets and things on the music that's bobbing up and down in front of me, and I'm lost. I am not even remotely trying to play the song because I have no idea what the song is even supposed to sound like. And then as we marched through the streets, I noticed that we were marching in silence. No one was playing. We're all just marching along. Have you ever had that moment when you realize that, well, maybe you don't even realize, but you realize later that you were the butt of the joke? We're marching along in silence and someone says, electric drum solo. Several days later I realized, oh, that was my solo. Now where does the hometown hero factor into this? The other famous person from my town is Kristen Bell. Princess Anna from Frozen, Veronica Mars, Sarah Marshall. She's in everything. And to this day, I am certain that as we marched down the streets in silence, because I didn't know the solo, I am sure that Kristen Bell was probably playing in her yard and saw my shame as we walked by.